I think now would be the perfect time to ask yourself that question now. What is it you really want to do? What are you good at? Diba? What inspires you? You are given extra hours of life. Sabi mo sa video game, para tayong binigyan ka ng extra life. Diba? Extra points. So yan. Diba? What are you gonna do with it? Are you just gonna sit around? Diba? Are you gonna let your fears always block or hinder you from doing things? And what's the worst that could happen? It will fail? Won't work? So be it. You learn along the way.
My guest today is a super host and entertainer. He's 1/4 of the boys' night out on Magic 89.9. He's one half of the Spotify exclusive Lecheng Pag-ibig To. He's a speed freak, triathlete, motorcycle and car enthusiast, and all-around fun guy. Welcome to Runong, Mr. Sam YG.
Happy Warren. Hello, everybody watching or listening to Runong. Hello. We are recording this at night, but if you are listening to it in the morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Kamusta ka naman, Paps?
Ayos naman, bro. Actually, I wanted to ask you the same thing, no? Kasi may na-pick up ako sa'yo eh. Meron ako gagayahin sa'yo eh.
Oh.
So, kamusta ka, Paps? At gaano ka kaayos from 1 to 10? Narinig ko na yan ang ano mo eh. That's your go-to kamusta now.
Yes. Because, aminin natin, pare, di ba? When we ask each other, di ba? Oh, kamusta? Ayos naman. That's a normal answer. Di ba? So, I think we were getting to that point na let's be more engaging. Let's try to care more about each other. So, yun, try to go for a second question. Tanungin talaga natin, kamusta ka nga ba talaga? Diba? From 1 to 10. If you're asking me, I'm at an 8.
Why is it an 8, pare?
There are things that could be better, and we all know that. Of course, our jobs have been affected. My job has been affected. Una na affect. Alam naman natin, pag host ka, ano ba business model ko? Mass gathering. Di ba? Oh, hindi ko na tinamaan hanggang ngayon. Yung pa rin ang tinatamaan. So that was one. But I'm blessed with family, with health. So I can't really, complain aside from, a couple of things that are major hassle. I can't complain. But also, speaking of hassle, kaya 8, it's not actually more personal. It's parang it's getting frustrating what's happening to the Philippines. It's a country I love. You know how much I love the Philippines. Nagpa-naturalize pa ako para maging Pilipino. For those who don't know, my entire family, I'm the only Filipino citizen until today.
Okay.
Yeah. I have been naturalized and I had to revoke my Indian citizenship.
Wow. Talagang...
Ano ibig sabihin nun?
Pare, wala ka ng passport ng India, bro. Ganon.
Mismo. Parang sinasabi ko, kasi sa India, bawal dual citizenship. So parang sinabi ko, India, break na tayo. Dito na ako.
Pucha, major pa talaga yun, no? Yeah. It's a big deal. I mean, akala ko pwede kang dual citizen.
In most countries, it would be like that. You got Canada, you got the US, you got Europe. You're allowed to be a dual citizen. In the Philippines, medyo hindi. In India, they don't allow that. So you have to choose one. Of course, at that time, no regrets. Until now, no regrets. But it's definitely frustrating. I think most of us are frustrated because of what's happening, how we know that things could be better, but it's handled very, very poorly. Yeah. The situation. I don't think it's a lack of funding or whatever. It was just a very poorly managed situation.
I think lahat nakakapag-agree dyan, pare. I mean, iba talaga eh. I mean, syempre, we can't help but compare, right? Ourselves to other countries. But yeah, here we are. And, pucha, mukhang no end in sight, di ba? But even that, pare, I mean, kasi 8 out of 10 ka pa din eh. Diba? So that's pretty high, man. I mean, I would argue that a lot of people or most people won't even get to that even pre-pandemic times, no? So I'd like to think that things have been pretty good also on your part. And I actually wanted to ask you that. So what's unexpected, no, na okay na nangyari sa'yo itong time ng pandemic?
Well, I think the biggest blessing is me being engaged.
Lakas. Yun.
Oh,
Oo.
no
Yeah.
regrets about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm super happy. Not even a regret. No, super happy about it. Made me realize so many things
Mm-mm.
about that. I've shared this on another podcast, and I want to share it with you as well.
Mm-mm.
I was, I got to a point I was so busy in life that when the pandemic hit, I was watching Netflix with my mom. We watched a movie, you know, and I realized I haven't seen a movie with her in 10 years.
Wild. And you're close
And
to
we
your
live
mom, diba? You're super close.
not yeah. Not only are we close, we live in the same house.
10 years.
Hmm. So imagine
Napaisip
here I
ako dun,
am,
ah. Yeah.
going in and out of the house. You're always, nandiyan naman nanay ko. Nandiyan, makikita ko ng bukas yan. Nakikita ko ng bukas yan. And I've been doing that for 10 years. Makikita ko naman bukas yan. Makikita. And then you get so busy that a year passes, 2 years pass, 3 years pass. And then you realize, shit, 10 years na pala.
Yeah.
Tapos, yung pa rin yung mentality ko, makikita ko naman bukas yan eh.
Oh.
Okay lang. So you take the small things for granted. You take your rest for granted. You take health for granted. Um, I was always, on the go, doing this, doing that. Pareho naman tayo, di ba? Okay, ano next na pwede gawin? Ano next na racket na pwede gawin? It never stops.
Oo.
As human beings, it's never going to be enough. We're always going to be looking for what's next, the next thing to do. And we get caught up in that cycle, in that whole rat race. So this is a big pause for all of us to make us think, what are we really after here? Ano ba talaga? What are we working for? What really means? What are you working for? What means a lot to you?
Do you have
Diba?
an answer for that now? I mean, now na things have slowed down for you, right? Sabi mo nga sobrang mong active tayo mong racket, tayo mong ginagawa. And totoo, pare, parang, actually, I wanted to talk about din yung work ethic mo nga Parang di ka napapagod, pare. You've hosted what? 1,000 weddings na ba? Ano na bang number mo, pare? Kasi,
Over 900 when it comes to the wedding. Total events, including corporate, over like probably close to 4,000.
Shit. And that's in a span of what? Like what? Less than a decade?
No naman, I think that's about 15 years.
15 years. But 4,000
time I
is
started.
4,000, bro. And
Oh.
before, ano motivation mo nun, pare? To work as hard as that, to go for as many projects as you can. What was driving you?
I'm not gonna lie, it was the money.
Money talaga.
Pare, when you're young, you're young and you're in an industry like mine. Parang parang athletes din eh. I admit it, I was so afraid na one day, pare, malalaos ka. And somebody else, the next person who's fresher, who's better, ganyan, will come along and take your spot. Because in the entertainment scene, that's the cycle of things.
Yeah.
Until today, that is the cycle of things. How many artistas can you name na pare nakita mo, sumikat ng 3-4 years, ngayon, parang, nga pala, ano nangyari dun?
Sobrang dami nun, bro. Parang yun yung usual nga di ba? Parang meron ka talagang time limit or meron ka expiry date, so to speak. Right?
Exactly. With all due respect to the Ann Curtises, the Ding Dong Dantises, who have, of course, tried and tested Piolo Pascual, test of time.
Aga mulak, bro.
Diba?
Richard Gomez,
Pero,
aga mulak.
itong mga pangalan na to, ilang percent lang to ng mga artista.
They're the minority,
ilang percent?
definitely. Yeah.
They're the minority who have stood the test of time. But the normal cycle is, you shoot up, you get to your peak. After that, you start, parang basketball player, di ba?
Yeah.
At 40, kahit pa paano. Even if you want to perform, like, you're in your 20s, your body's not allowing you to perform like you're in your 20s. So you have to, kind of start shifting down. And that's the reality of the entertainment scene.
Yeah.
So when I was young, going back to your question, when I was young, I was thinking, okay, kailangan ko mag-ipon. Tanggapin mo lahat na racket. Kasi one day, tapos lahat to. And with what I was making, that money, kailangan i-invest ko na yan somewhere. Para by the time na malaos ako, okay na.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried na shit, wala akong trabaho.
Mm. Ano yan, bro? On your own yan? Or meron like, saan mo nakuha yung guidance na yan, yung ganyang perspective?
Um, I think when it comes to money matters, it was really my mom who, instilled the financial discipline in me. Because sad to say, in the Philippines, we have very poor financial education.
Sagad.
If if ever meron,
Yeah.
if ever katiting, di ba? You have to enroll in seminars, read your own rich dad, poor dad
True.
books.
Yeah.
Ikaw hindi pare, wala.
Totoo.
Okay, yes, I agree, may finance 101, may accounting 101,
Pero
but
wala
this
yun,
does
bro.
not.
Academic na ano
Oh,
yun. Walang totoong buhay na turo yun.
oh,
Oh.
this does not teach you how to save,
Yeah.
how to properly use your money, how to properly invest. You have to, in the Philippines, what's sad is you have to learn it. If it's something that you want, kailangan ikaw invest in a seminar, learn the stock market, read your books on different things you can put your money in while you're still making money.
So
Wala,
ngayon,
self-learn that.
yeah. So ngayon, pandemic na, 'di ba, nag-slow down nga yung life mo. So I asked you earlier what was motivating you and you said it's money, flat out money. Now, obviously makakapag-reflect ka na ng konti or nakapag-reflect ka na. Anong tingin mong motivation mo or what's driving you now? Has anything changed?
Right now, a big chunk of my my energy and my decisions are already have shifted towards having a peaceful life and peace of mind. Kasi nga eto tayo, we're living in a situation that we don't even know. It's like survival of the fittest, di ba? Of course, we're young. Hopefully, if tamaan ka ng COVID, we're gonna survive. But we also know people of our age na tinamaan, hindi rin nag-survive. So, I'm not saying live by the day, live each day like it's your last na magwalwal ka, di ba? But also consider na, we also don't know what's gonna happen next. So, it would be nice to also, take a step back and have some time for yourself, have that peace of mind, invest in yourself, work on yourself, give yourself a break instead of just chasing and chasing and chasing, because we're going to be chasing so hard that one day we're going to get old and it's going to fly by so fast. And when we get old, diba? Ganun naman diba? When you're young, diba? You chase the money. Diba?
Yeah.
When you're old, but when you're young kasi, you have time but you don't have money. So you end up chasing the money. When you're old, baliktad. You have money, but you don't have time anymore. So you try to chase your time. Tapos na.
Yeah.
Ganun naman. Let's admit it, diba? How many of the old people do you know, parang shit, dapat nung bata ako, ginawa ko yan. How many times of our titos, dads, moms have told us, alam mo, habang bata ka, enjoyin mo to. Travel ka, gawin mo to, gawin mo yan. Pero sa atin, pasok sa isang tenga, labas sa kabila.
Yeah. Kailangan maranasan mo no? Parang ganun
Oo.
Wala tayong pinakinggang advice
Oo. Tapos yun nga, you're gonna travel when you're in your 60s and whatnot. Okay, may pera ka na nga, 60 ka, pero wala ka nang magawa. Tanda ka na. So it's really a balance of everything. I'm not saying like it's not a matter of, going walwal, going gung-ho na, oh, pare, use all your money, bukas, wala na tayo dito. No, it's not that. It's finding that balance na, okay, let's do this. Learn to save time for yourself. Don't stress out, too much on the small stuff. Learn to enjoy. Learn to give yourself a pat on the back.
How are you doing now with this slow down lifestyle? Kasi for the most part of your adult life, ako nga parang question ko nga, adrenaline junkie ka ba? Kasi parang antulin Even yung sports mo, bro, triathlete ka, di ba? Tapos, mahilig ka sa motor, mahilig ka sa cars. Everything is like moving forward and everything is fast. So now, obviously, with the realizations, yun nga, you want to savor the moment a bit more, right? Slow down. But how is that affecting you now?
Hindi mo mawala yung I think my love for cars, my love for sports, my love for bikes, hindi na mawawala yan. But also, I must admit, it affected the way I ride, the way I drive. Kung before, sige, hanggang
Upak.
sagad ng
Mm.
kotse, palong-palo.
Mm.
Ngayon, I enjoy driving. I enjoy the drive. It's not like before na parang, okay, let me see how fast I can turn this
Yeah.
car, going up to Tagaytay for
Yeah.
crying out loud. I mean,
Uso sa atin
now
yun, pare,
it's,
di ba? Pabilisan, packet
oh,
ng...
oh, di ba? Una makarating from New Valley, packet nung market, di ba?
Yeah.
Sige,
Yeah.
papabilisan tayo. And now, you start thinking to yourself, okay, I might be there 5 minutes later, but was it worth risking your life, driving recklessly to
Yeah.
get there 5 minutes faster? Like how fast or how many minutes are you really gonna save?
Sure. And now,
Diba?
syempre, pare, dahil engaged ka na, may angkas ka na or may katabi ka na ngayon, pare, going up or going to whatever destination, di ba? So,
True, true.
I'm sure, yun nga, it's funny nga kasi talagang, despite the advice of our uncles, of our parents, or what, wala, blur sa atin yun eh, di ba, pare? Talagang wala yun eh. Until we actually go through it. And it's just I don't know bakit ganun. To be honest, parang pucha yan na nga lahat ng wisdom eh, 'di ba? Yan na nga lahat ng sinasabi, been there, done that na nga eh. But for some reason, we still prefer to actually go through it. And then
You know,
pucha parang kamot ng ulo
uh,
pag pumutok, 'di ba?
because at the end of the day, experience will always be the best teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always gonna be like that. And we know this far too well na hanggang mangyari sa'yo, 'di ba? Isip mo, wala yan.
Yeah.
O kaya hindi mangyayari sa akin yan.
Mm.
'Di ba?
Yun yung
Simpleng
yun
bagay.
yung uso pare, yung hindi mangyayari sa akin yan. I know
Oo.
better. Parang ganun eh. May
Oo.
ganung yabang eh, no? May ganung ego component.
And then the younger you are, the more
Yeah.
egoistic you are, 'di ba?
Yeah.
We care about, what brands of clothes you
Yeah.
wear, 'di ba? What car you drive, this and that. And then you find not for everyone, but
Yeah.
I guess even for myself, I'm not sure about you if I can speak for you, but
Hmm.
you as you're old, you find yourself parang, okay, Uniqlo na to, 'di ba?
Oh,
Tayo sa
pare yun
Uniqlo,
talaga. In
'di
fact,
ba?
Uniqlo nga yung suot ko eh. Pare
Oh, 'di ba?
yan
Pare,
talaga.
bilhin natin lahat ng kulay. 'Di ba?
Oo.
Compared to the age when, pare, kailangan RL to, 'di
Yeah.
ba? Kailangan, Gucci, pare,
Talagang
'di ba?
magka-batch tayo, bro eh. Siyempre, yun yung uso eh. Di ba? Pare talaga.
Oh, and I'm just trying to,
Tama,
'di ba?
tama, tama, tama
Or
talaga.
kailangan yung belt mo, yung may H, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Kahit sa bahay,
Ayun.
naka-tuck in ka. Puta, para makita yung H belt mo, 'di ba?
Ang
Oh.
lala nun, bro. Yeah.
Ngayon, sige, naka-Rolex ka nga. Naka-Rolex ka, you have your, whatever, Patek or
Hmm.
Richard Mille watch.
Yeah.
Puro ka zoom ngayon. Ano gagawin mo? Nakaganon ka. So guys, meeting? Di ba? It looks stupid.
Yeah.
Tingnan natin.
Yeah. Yeah.
O, di ba? Yung sapatos mong Prada, okay, ano gagawin natin dyan?
Yeah.
Guys, di ba? Papakita mo sa screen. By the way, nakaano tayo.
Yeah.
It kind of brings everybody
True.
down to a level playing field. Of course, now when it comes to material things, because the rich would still have more savings to go through a lockdown than somebody in the middle class, than somebody in or a marginalized person, na sabihin natin who are people who are living by the day, end to end.
Mm.
Yung kinita sa umaga, pinangkain sa gabi.
Yeah.
Diba? But it kind of levels the playing field, because also here we are in a situation where you open your Facebook and you see your friends, sometimes rich people, having COVID.
Yeah. Tama.
But COVID is not for the rich. It's not for the middle class. It's not for the poor. It's for everyone. It kind of leveled everything out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diba? And we've seen rich people. Okay, I'm sure there was time you opened your Facebook na parang, ay pucha, tinamaan sila. Oh, pucha, kilala ko to. Oh, kilala ko to. Oh, mayaman to.
Mm.
But yun nga, all things equal, we are living in a pandemic na, okay, it doesn't choose your social status.
Yeah. In fact, parang it forces you nga to to really reassess your life, what you stand for, what you live for, what you pursue. 'Di ba? Parang tama ka eh, yung COVID, yung pandemic talaga, walang pinili yan eh. Social class wala pare, lahat tatamaan. And yeah, of course some have it worse than us, right? Meron talagang mga medyo intense na cases of that, right? But ultimately nga, there's this level of self-reflection that came along with it.
I hope so.
'Di ba?
Sa akin meron. I hope
Ako sa akin
for other
meron
people
din. But
meron
pero
din.
tama,
Oo.
oo nga no. Actually tama ka. I don't think we can also claim that everybody would have that kind of
True.
reflection. Tama nga naman. Yeah.
Because we all had different experiences. We all grew up differently. Different things matter to us.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Um, diba? And here we are, like for myself, you know that the house I'm building was
Yeah.
formerly yours, diba?
Yeah.
Uh, well, off the record or on the record,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But here we are trying to find a place in the city when now everybody's trying to move out of Metro
That's
Manila.
my dream, bro, to move out again. 'Di ba? Umalis
Diba?
na ako
Again, you
eh.
came, yeah,
Oh,
lumalis ka na.
bumalik ako. Not my choice, sir. Bumalik ako. But I'm looking for that opportunity again to get out, man. Like,
And
really.
now it's for a different reason.
Yeah. Tama.
Diba? You were, before, when you were in El Nido, we were having that nice conversation. I remember it
Mm.
was a very long talk.
Mm.
You were telling me as to why you transferred,
Mm.
the hopes, the dreams. It was different. And now here you are telling me, and you went back to Manila,
Mm.
and now here you are telling me na, bro, the dreams to get out again.
Oo.
But now, it's for a different reason.
Sure. Yeah.
People who have big houses, what, in the Forbes parks or whatever, are what, buying property outside
Oo.
because we don't know when it's gonna end. Honestly, what's frustrating, I guess, going back to the 8 out of 10, is that we can't seem right now to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Sanay tayo sa may problema, malilipas yan, lilipas yan. Diba? Matatapos din yan, matatapos din yan. Diba? Pero ngayon, here we are, okay, may vaccine, biglang, oh shit, may ibang variant naman. Itong variant na to, hindi tinatabla ng vaccine.
Yeah.
Itong variant na to, hindi na-detect ng PCR. Pucha, ano na? And it's getting to a point that it's getting frustrating.
You come from a well-to-do family, studied in a prestigious school, born and raised here, di ba? And yun nga, naturalized ka na rin. But that didn't prevent you from getting bullied, discriminated. And I would imagine up to now, there's this level pa din, even though, of course, you're popular now, you're famous now, meron pa ding discrimination that comes along with that, right? I think I would argue, and Tony mentioned this nga na, Pinoys are really racist, man. I mean, whether we admit it or not, talagang grabe yun sa atin. Ang question ko is, how did that shape you? How did that shape your life? Having to go through that unfairly at such an early age.
It was very tricky to go through that phase of life. Kasi when you're young, wala ka pa naman ego eh, diba? Your ego is so brittle, it can be easily crushed. And going through, a lot of bullying when I was in elementary, being called Bombay, mabaho, nobody wanted to play basketball with me. They'd steal my basketball, diba? Tapos never nasoli. It was very painful, to go through it every day, but I wanted it to stop. I guess I wasn't that type of person that would just sit around and kasi hindi naman ako gumaganti ng physical eh. Kasi minsan gano'n, di ba? Pag pikon ka na, sasaptakin mo lang yung bahala. Gago ka pala eh. Di ba? I mean, gano'n naman tayo high school, elementary eh. We didn't know
yun,
better.
bro.
Diba? We did not know better. Diba? Elementary, high school, pare, we did not know better. Elementary, high school, may manggago sa'yo, pucha, sapakin mo yan. Bahala, suntukan sa di ba? Cosca versus Ateneo. May mga days na yun, di ba? Lasal versus suntukan, di ba? No, I'm just saying, di ba?
Yeah.
It was a different phase of life, and I mean, I came to realize I just can't be living like this forever now, taking shit from everyone. And I wasn't going to get physical with anyone because that wasn't me. So I had to do something else. And I guess I fueled that. I have to admit, it was anger. I fueled that anger when I was young to do something. And the goal wasn't really to get back or to make gante to anyone. I think it was more to prove that hindi dahil Bombay ako, alam mo yun, mabaho ako, I'm less of a person, I'm not worthy of, of having friends. It was more of that. Like, parang I was out, I used that energy, that anger to to prove to people that hindi nyo ako kilala. You can't judge me just because of that.
Mm.
You may bully me all you want, but you don't know me.
Yeah.
So there was that struggle to break through that, you know.
Yeah. Did that fuel also yung career mo? I mean, yun nga, from somebody who wasn't accepted before, right? Who went through so much discrimination. Tapos here you are now, pucha, yun mo yun, top host, right? Parang, I know a lot of people that want you to host their wedding. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. Yayariin kayo ni Sam. Pero, de joke lang. Pero di ba, parang, kasi, of course, you're now this larger than life personality, right? And I would like to assume na somebody na binuli would shy away from the spotlight, right? Parang yun yung tendency na parang, shit, kasi nga may insecurity issues, right? Pero ikaw, hindi ka lang tumayo sa spotlight, bro. Ginamit mo pa as material now, right? Yung pagkabumbay mo, yung 5'6" and everything, and wala, parang, I guess it's like your 8 Mile moment, right? It's your Eminem moment wherein you just spurt out, lahat ng hihirit nyo sa akin, unahan ko na kayo. And I'll make it
Yes,
funnier.
that was the game plan.
And I'll make
To
it
be honest.
funnier. And sorry, I don't know if you'll agree with this. And it's gonna make me so fucking rich. So tangina mo. Parang kasi sabi mo may galit. Again, I'm trying to inquire about this though. Ako kasi syempre I have my way of interpreting it also. So tell us how was it for you?
It wasn't na parang tangina mo or anything like that. It was more
sorry.
of no. It was more of I'm really out to prove to people that okay, if kung gusto mo ko asarin, 'di ba? Alaskay mo ko, you better be so damn creative.
Mm.
Kailangan sobra mong galing para masaktan ako or para mapikon ako. Kasi kung mag-joke-joke ka lang na Bombay or whatever, 5'6", babalikan lang kita, tapos papahiya ka lang. Diba? So, if you're gonna come at me, you better come at me with something really, really good. That would make an impact. And I guess that was the mindset, no? Not the driving force, but the mindset. The money was secondary, I think, when it comes to hosting events, whether it's a wedding, a TV show, a radio show. I always have this mentality: you're only good as your last show. You don't know who's watching, you don't know who's listening. Even now, like we're doing Runong, I don't know who's going to be listening to this. I don't know who's going to be watching this, diba? But if we could touch a life with this show, with this, what we're doing now, then it could turn into something really good. So, going back to my point, I wanted to actually more than the money. It's prove myself, and I guess I wanted that respect. And you can't demand respect. You got to work for it.
True.
You got to work for respect. You can't tell a person, oh, respetuhin mo ako. Bakit ka respetuhin? Diba? Give me a reason to respect you. And so here I am, day in, day out, working, doing every single event, doing every single wedding, doing every single, even now, hosting events. Like today, this is actually my 6th show for today.
Wow.
Oh, now I'm a guest, but the 5 I hosted. And it's always, it would be my 6th show, but I'm going to give you the performance of my first show, or I'm going to give you the content of my first show.
The same energy level.
The same energy, the passion that you would expect. Just because I think I built that Sam YG brand of hosting to a certain level that when people request you to host their event, whether it's, like I said, a corporate event, a TV show or whatnot, they are also expecting a certain standard. And that's why they're getting you.
Yeah.
They're expecting that that's standard. No. Now, until today, people are still, it's never going to go away. It's a dog eat dog world for any industry, including mine. There's just, there are hosts out there, I'm sure, who are just waiting for me to make that mistake, waiting for me to be tamad. Diba?
Mm.
Na parang, oh sige, okay lang, pang-anim na show ko na to ngayon eh. Eh,
Oh.
na siguro pumetics ng konti, diba? And they're just waiting for that one moment na pumetics ka at
Mm.
makita nila, shit, eto na, pumetics na to. It is the perfect time for me to, overtake, get in the scene or whatnot. And for me, I think I hold what I've worked for the past 15 years so close to me, and I worked for it so hard that every show, every everything I do, I really give it my all or nothing,
It's
every time.
it's interesting kasi yun nga eh. I guess that need no for respect and tama ka, 'di ba? You cannot like just demand it from anybody. You have to earn it. And I'd like to think that at this point in your career, in your life, that you've earned that. Like there's no more questions, right? Well, ang ano doon, but hearing you now also talking about, syempre may mga same industry, may mga kalaban, right? Well, kalaban, I don't know if that's the right word, or
Hindi mawala
may
eh.
mga ibang talent, right?
Of course, yeah.
It's interesting because you have your eyes on them too. Parang I didn't think na you would, kasi para 6 shows today alone, right? 15 years
And
in
one
the,
and one shoot
and
nasa studio pa.
diba,
Ah,
parang grabe bro eh. Tapos over 4,000 shows, and you still parang it's just so clear pa din to you na you cannot lose sight of what you've worked hard on. And you don't, obviously, you don't intend to let it go, right? Pero grabe yun, pare. Grabe yung drive na yun. Grabe yung, yung what's behind that.
I think I've come to the point na I admit the first part was all about me.
Hmm.
But then there were times that I look at, what I do and why I do it. And okay, to answer your question first about focus, yes, I focus on what I'm doing. I'll always, work hard to do even better than my last show, to give it my all. But yes, in my peripheral, you also have to know what the competition is doing. Diba?
Yeah.
You can't lose sight of that, because I'll give you an example. Okay, sorry to name brands here, but um, do you know? I'm sure you remember. Ano ba dati pinapipicture natin?
What do you mean? As a camera? Ganon?
Oh,
So, Canon? Ano bang, Sony?
diba?
Oh,
Diba? No, even before phones, even before digicams, what did you use?
like film cameras, right? Na parang,
Exactly.
oh,
What
yeah.
was the most popular brand?
Kodak? Ano bang...
Exactly. Diba?
Yeah, Kodak, yeah.
Kodak was such a big popular company. They were huge. They were, nobody ever thought that one day somebody would take over Kodak. Kodak was on top of their game.
Yeah.
Do you remember what killed Kodak?
Yeah, man. Di ba parang digital cameras, di ba? When they came out, kasi wala na bumibili ng film, pare. Parang
Even before that, iPhone.
the phones.
The iPhones
Ah,
started killing the film. Then the digicams came out. Then the digicams started killing the film.
yeah.
Because now you have an opportunity to take so many photos. Delete. Dati, pag snap mo,
Yun na
hintay mo
yun,
ba
pa.
ma-develop yan? O, pag ma-develop pangit, wala kang magawa. Yun yung nakuha na di ba?
Yeah,
Ngayon,
yeah.
ay shit, di gusto yung mukha ko. Retake tayo. Diba? Wala pa magandang shot. Retake tayo. Take two. Okay, let's talk about another industry here.
Cellphone, bro.
Okay.
Nokia.
Cell phone, yeah, Nokia. We've seen shifts, diba?
Yeah.
Nokia was on top of their game, and we were like, "Oh my God, 6110, this is the shit, man."
Yeah.
Diba? Puta, may snake, tapos
Yun.
2 players, tatapatan mo para, oh my God, how smart are these people to come up with phones that have Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Diba? Na makakasend ka ng business card, makaka-text ka, diba?
Saka bro,
We're all
ringtone. Ringtone. Huwag mo
Ringtones.
makakalimutan yung ringtone, bro.
acetate, do you believe in me ringtone? Pare, lahat yan, di ba? And we were like in awe. Lahat tayo like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is the shit, man.
Yeah.
Wala nang gaganda pa dito.
Tama.
Puta, eto na si BlackBerry. Relax
BBM pa
lang
lang
tayo,
katapat.
BBM, apo. Buong keyboard, di ba?
Yeah.
The BBM and iPhone war.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're here in the generation where it's the iPhone versus Samsung versus Huawei versus God knows, Oppo, whatever cell phone you're using. And it just keeps on, getting better faster than we can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, Same with any industry. And that's gonna follow suit for any industry,
How do
even
you
with
stay
mine.
how do you stay on top of it then? I mean, yun nga tama ka eh. Things have been changing so fast. Parang the more as we go forward, no, with life in general, with the years also, it's 2021 now. Yung pace ng technology, yung development for the past 10 years, essentially siguro baka 50 years yung equivalent niya prior to the 10 years ago. And it's getting faster and faster. And sabi mo nga, dito pagdating sa hosting or in your industry, hindi naman kayo excluded from that, right? So how do you stay on top of your game?
That's where the material comes in.
Hmm.
I can't be, cracking the same jokes, doing the same thing every time I host. Because the people who have seen me, there's an companies that have gotten me for their Christmas parties for the past 7 years in a row. Same bosses, same employees. Alam naman yung narig nila last year, yung parang nihirit ko ngayon. Diba? Hindi pwede yun. Now, that is where you come in. That's where craftsmanship comes in. Diba? Whenever you get on that stage, you're given that mic, what is something new you can bring to the table? What is something that only you can do that nobody else can do? Then you build on that. Kumbaga, sa kontrata or sa kahit ano, pinirmahan mo. Pag pinirmahan mo, may pirma ka na dyan eh. Wala nang pwede pumirma ng ganyan yan. Bigyan mo na yung ano mo dyan. Signed by you and only you have your own signature. Diba? And that's what I try to tell everyone. When I do talks about hosting, when I give talks in school, it's, no matter which industry you're in, you have newscasters. Why is Kuya Kim so popular? Diba? Because he created his own brand.
Yeah.
We are in the world where you create your own brand. If you want to be remembered, you want to leave, that legacy, create your own brand. Make sure that no one else can do what you're doing. And that's the hardest part. And the second hardest part, which a lot of people don't realize, in this, which was, my greatest fear, which I shared kanina when I was starting out, is malaos ka.
Yeah.
So here I am, years and years. Sige, trabaho. Kasi, shit, paano pag next year wala na kumuha sa akin? Shit, paano pag next year wala nang projects, diba? And one thing that I was talking to, I remember Michael V. The year, I think 2012.
Okay.
Almost 10 years ago. We were backstage in Itbulaga at that time, and he was telling me, I asked him. He was such a good mentor. He'd always, talk to me straight up, tell me straight up how things are. And I asked him, sabi ko, alam mo, bilib ako sa'yo. Bubble Gang has been running for so long. I had to write jokes like that, diba? Kay ni Ogie, ganyan. Tapos ikaw parang, puta, may commercials ka pa rin. Diba? Ang dami pa rin ginagawa. How do you do it? And that lesson, I think I'd never forget because I carry it with me till this day. And he said, the hardest thing in the industry, especially entertainment, is reinvention. It's how to it is your job to keep yourself fresh. Nobody's gonna keep you fresh for you but yourself. And going back to what you were talking about kanina, how do you do that? Hindi pwedeng yung material mo yung pa rin hanggang ngayon. Na 10 taon na ginagamit mo. Diba? If it could be, I don't know, your forma, could be your material, the way you look, the way you deliver your jokes, or could be a podcast, YouTube, a vlog or whatever. it's all about reinvention. Because at one point, aminin natin, even the Shivakar character, at
Yeah.
one point, mapapagod yung tao dyan.
Wala na yun, no? Did you drop the Shivakar character or meron pa
I
din?
still do it for certain shows.
Okay.
But limited na lang.
Not as
But,
prevalent as
oh,
before. Okay.
kasi, yun nga eh, at one point, if you run that to the ground, that's it.
Ayun na.
Wala ka na mabibigay sa tao.
Mm.
So the hardest part is really reinvention. But that's what's gonna make you stay on top of the game.
About 2 episodes ago, well, second, akala mo naman dami kong episode, no? Yung episode 2 ko, I had Red Oliero, the stand-up comedian on the show, right? And he gave a very interesting perspective about comedy. 'Di ba? Kasi ikaw nakakatawa ka, 'di ba? That's really your brand also, you know, you're fun, you're funny, 'di ba? And he shared something na parang kinalibutan ako kasi pucha naalala ko si Joker, bro.
Okay.
And he said essentially that good comedy comes from a dark place, from a deep dark place. And sabi ko, talaga ba? Parang hindi ka pwede maging masaya tapos maganda rin yung jokes mo, nakakatawa yung jokes mo. Parang he's like, pare alam mo ba, pinaka nakakatawa kami pag nag-break kami sa mga girlfriend na. Parang ganun. Sabi ko, ba't ganun? Sabi niya, pare, kasi pag in love ka, corny mo, bro. Kasi parang ganun yung, I mean, ganun lang namin ka-loose, ganun niya ka-loose kinukwento. But I knew there was something deeper than that. And yun nga, since ikaw, di ba, you're an entertainer. Sabi mo nga, you need material, you need to reinvent yourself. Ganun din ba sa'yo, pare? Na parang, yun nga, parang may darkness or may lalim na pinanghuhugutan para yun yung kino-convert mo into that brand, that image.
I go back to the whole bullying part of my life. I think that was, I told you naman, di ba? May ano eh, may galit na nanggaling dun eh. Of course, the galit is now, you know, I'm over that or whatever. But there was galit there, definitely. It was not the best place to be in. No? And that galit, yun nga, you wanted to prove yourself, you wanted to be someone, ayaw mong binubully ka, ayaw mo na maging physical. And of course, that drives you to do something, to try to make something of yourself. But yeah, so going back to your question, yes, there is that dark side. And I don't think that I'd be here without going through that. I would have to agree with that. But also at the same time, when people ask me what drives me these days, what motivates me, you know, whenever I host an event, it's not even the I tell this to people, no? I do it for the outcome and not the income. It's come to a point na I'm so particular with my work, no, that my drive is to at least make one person laugh a day. Whether it's an event I'm hosting, no, parang sa akin, that's what makes me feel fulfilled.
Whether bayad ka o hindi, basta may mapatuwa, may mapasaya kang tao.
No, kahit yung bayad sa akin sa event, 1,000 pesos, kahit mayroon akong 100,000 pesos, pag nandun ka na sa stage, hindi ko na iniisip yung shit, 1,000 lang bayad sa akin dito. Medyo tama rin tayo, petics tayo konti. Yeah. Or shit, gagalingan ko to, 100,000 bayad dito. Shit, 1 million event, 1 million peso event to. Gagalingan, bibigay ko lahat dito. I mentioned it earlier, I'm going to say it again. You could expect the same quality, you know, whether whatever the money you're being paid. Because for now, what matters is, may napatawa ba ako? Did I manage to change somebody's day by putting a smile on their face? Through probably a joke I made, through talking to them, through a hirit I made. And yun nandun na yung fulfillment for me. Parang, okay, I made somebody smile today. I made somebody happy today. So masaya na rin ako. I think it transcended already I mean, I'm blessed. I'm not going to deny it. I'm blessed that I'm being paid for something I love to do. Sure. But umabot sa point na yun na parang Conversely also, there have been events na parang alam mo parang shit, I could have done better. That could have been better. But you learn from these things. You don't let those not so good moments, snowball into wala na to, wala na to. Hindi. Mas galit ka pag alam mo pag yung last event mo parang shit. Parang medyo wala ako nahirit na maganda dun Mas galit ka the next show, parang pucha, teka, gagalingan ko to, dodoblehin ko to kasi hindi pwedeng mag twice na ganun mangyari.
So meron ka pa rin mga off days pa.
Meron pa rin,
Hindi
meron
mo
pa rin.
mawawala
Of
yun.
course. Of course. And you also have your super on days na your brain's just like pam, 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 pam.
Yeah.
Walang patid.
Actually, curious ako kasi, yun nga, again, going back to your example, today, 6 shows, 1 shoot. So, we can only imagine how draining that is also. What's your go-to? Diba? Kasi, syempre, I think you have to refuel also yourself, right? Or you have to keep yourself in tip-top shape. Not just physically, but also mentally, right? So, what are your, like, go-to habits or rituals or routines na you can share with us?
I try to really, appreciate food these days. Kaya nga sabi sa'yo kanina, kasi medyo, sabi, can you give me like 30 more minutes? Kain lang ako. Kasi I could have gone on online naman at 8. Pero parang, I wouldn't be at 100%. Alam ko medyo, gusto ko lang tapusin to kasi gusto ko na kumain. Alam mo yun? So, I give myself that rest. I just finished Boys Night Out. Sabi ko, you know what? It doesn't hurt pushing it back 30 minutes. At least, mabigay ko yung 30 minutes na yun, 30 minutes na yun kanina, no? Where I got to, just sit back, some quiet time. I don't even play music or anything, just really quiet time. And had my meal, tapos relax konti, a few more minutes. Sabi ko, okay, game. You have to learn to take those breaks. To hit the pause button. Kasi kaya naman dire-diretso. Kaso, your quality also suffers. So for me, that's number one. I like to take my breaks, not only during the day, but also I've appreciated taking vacations with my fiance. When we go on vacations, like I was in Boracay for a whole week last week. So I really pag ganun, medyo off time na talaga.
Hindi ka nagtatrabaho pag ganun?
Or no, of course,
meron.
May oras. Like, sabi ko, okay, by 11, stop na.
Okay.
Tapos I'll check my phone again, siguro mga 4 na. Para lang, you have to do that. Your mind gets too cluttered as well. There's this resort we went to in Bolinao, Pangasinan, no? And this is recently. If I'm not mistaken, it happened around May or June. No? It's a long drive, 6-hour drive going there. Pinaka north tip ng Pangasinan. Bolinao, yeah. When we got there, okay, we got settled in. It's a little cabin, no? It's not like a serviced hotel, right? It's a little cabin facing the beach. Tapos may kusina. So dala kang pagkain mo, luto ka. Sabi ko, I booked it for 5 days. My first time to go there. Beautiful place. It's called View.
Okay.
If you guys want to check it out, it's a beautiful place. Got there. I was driving the entire time. 6 hours. Couple of coffee breaks. Park. Lapag gamit. Okay, settled in. Check my phone. Pucha, walang signal. Sabi ko, teka. Luckily, the owner of the cabin was there. And I said, sir, kasi I asked my fiance, may signal ka? Sabi, wala rin. Dapat ako sa kanya. Sabi, sir, wala talaga yung signal. Sabi, wala eh. And I was booked for 5 days. I'm talking about zero signal. I'm not talking about 1 bar, 2 bars. I'm talking about 0. Okay. Eto na. Saan may signal? Sabi, meron naman. But you have to drive. Not walk, drive 5 minutes out. Okay. You know what? That, until today, has to be one of the most relaxing trips of my life. Kasi, first day, pagdating doon, tsaka hanggang, siguro, the next morning, parang, okay, check phone, pucha, ano nangyayari, okay, reply,
Yeah.
reply. But when it got to the third day, I didn't even check my phone anymore.
Mm.
Kasi alam ko, wala rin ako makikita. Kasi walang mapasok eh. Ba't mo pa i-check? I think it's the first time that my phone went for 3 days without charging.
Tumagal lang ganun kasi wala.
Oh, kasi walang papasok. Wala internet,
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah. Liberating, no? Parang ganun, may sense of...
Iba. Then I realized how much, how much social media, how much I have to, of course, I can't say it's such a bad thing because, of course, there's money to be made out of it.
Sure.
But how much of time these things take away from us in a day. So here I am. So me and Essa, we said, okay, every morning, this is what we're going to do. We're going to drive 5 minutes out, get all your work done till 9 in the morning. Then we come back. We're not going back after that.
Nilagyan nyo ng ganong oras. That's it.
Yeah. And until today, I would say that was one of the most relaxing trips of my life.
It's interesting na you've mentioned time several times throughout our conversation. And you and I, we're both nearing 40. Wala naman sa itsura, 'di ba?
Yun importante.
Di ba? You're engaged now. And it's quite evident na ang laki na rin ng miniature mo, pare. I mean, to be honest, kasi magkakilala tayo, pare. Ilang taon na rin naman yon.
True.
May mga gimmick tayo na magkakasama tayo.
Actually, when I went to El Nido and you were there, Essa was not even my girlfriend yet.
Oh, pare. Kasi parang medyo weird.
Yeah.
Parang medyo eh. Oh.
We were still dating at that time.
Ah.
We were not even together officially.
I see. Kasi
And now, look, now we're engaged.
Yeah.
At that time, hindi pa nga kami.
Nakakatawa rin, no, pare. Parang yung mga bagay na hindi mo naman inaasahan na yun pa yung... Kasi, same story ako with my wife. Like, ang joke nga nun, parang ako pa yung hindi ako ready, pare. Hindi ako ready mag-commitment, ganyan. Nagtatawanan na nga niya ako now. But ultimately, kahit hindi ako ready nung time na yun, now we have a family, right? We have 2 kids, right? Parang, it's interesting. And yun nga, parang now you're on that path too.
Yeah, you have to embrace it. I realized, here we are trying to, hindi. Ayoko tumanda. Hindi, I'm actually embracing every year of my life. Yeah. Embracing it. And, I don't want to pretend like I'm in my 20s.
Yeah.
I would like to look like I would like to look like I'm in my 20s. We all like to do that. But I'm embracing it, There's wisdom that comes with age. Yeah. There's beauty that comes with age. Yeah. But there are only things you'd realize when you're 40, when you're 30s, in your 30s, that you would never realize in your 20s. Yeah. But you'd have to go through that.
Ako pare, parang nafe-feel ko nga na despite the pandemic, I'm really feeling good, man. Of course, again, tama ka on a macro level, right? On a world level, But personally, kasi nga itong time na na-regain ko, itong work from home setup, 'di ba, na lahat ng meals, pare, kasama ko ngayon yung pamilya ko. Exactly. I was just telling my son that, alam mo ba kung gaano ka kaswerte, nakasama mo yung magulang mo, whether you like it or not. Diba? Kasama mo yung parents mo, kumakain.
Every meal.
Yeah. Right? Just parang, and, like, yun nga you were talking kasi ikaw on the go ka, ako din on the go din ako, parang hindi ka mapalagay, right? And now, in a sense, you're forced to sit. And I'm now seeing all of these beautiful things that, again, going back to what you shared about you watching a movie with your mom that you haven't done for the past 10 years, right? Marami rin akong mga ganung bagay na I took for granted. I guess as human beings also, we're more designed or programmed to really note the things that don't go our way. But the things that diba? But the things that go our way, meron tayong tendency na parang, dapat lang.
Oh, we take for granted.
Oh.
Ganyan
Diba?
talaga eh. Diba? Yan naman dapat talaga
Yeah.
eh. Diba
Pero,
kaya you always remember the things that hurt you
yeah.
or even the people that hurt you because that's when things did not go your way.
Yeah.
Diba? But minsan nakakalimutan natin those friends who were with us when we really needed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minsan yung pinakakalimutan natin.
Mm.
Kasi we kind of expected na, kaibigan ka, kalala niya ka talaga. Diba? Pero mas naalala natin yung, gago to ah. Diba? Sinaktan ako nito.
Yeah.
When it should be the other way around. We should be appreciating those who never left us. Diba? When times were tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, feeling ko nga parang, di ba nga, nido ako, tas bumalik ako, tas yun nga, hindi ko naman
Mm.
choice yun. Kasi unfortunately, may nangyaring hindi mabuti doon that made me
Mm.
come back here. And, syempre, galit ako nun, pare. Di ba? Unfair, parang tangina, di ba? Pero now, naisip ko, but shit, it actually primed me for now, for the
Exactly.
pandemic. And I know maybe I'm over-justifying it, trying to find reason in that, but that's how I choose it now. I would prefer na, whoa, it was actually, again, a primer.
Mm-hmm.
And now, even if the world is crashing or has crashed, I'm viewing it with a very optimistic perspective. And nagkaroon ako ng lakas ng loob para gawin tong runong. Pucha, tagal ko na itong inuupuan, pare. You know, I mean, parang,
That's great. I'm actually super happy for you when you started this.
thank you, pare.
Okay
Kasi,
to. And I do hope na, this goes a long way.
kasi yun, pare, parang type A ako eh. 'Di ba? Overconfident. 'Di ba? Parang hindi naman ako mellow na person. And I was like, but when I wanted to do this, I couldn't. Because I was so insecure. Because like, shit, harap ako, tayo na, anong sabihin ko dyan?
Sasabihin ko, ano gagawin ko dyan, no?
Ano gagawin ko dyan? And parang dami kong delay. Tapos wala, parang yun nga, kita ko, hey, I'm in a privileged position. I shouldn't waste it.
Sure.
I shouldn't waste it. And yeah, and here we are. And now I'm feeling ko talaga, pare, na I have like great momentum in my life towards something more beautiful, something more positive, and something ultimately more impactful.
I like what you said there. I like where, your train of thought is. And I'd like to go back to you talking about perspectives. No? I have this tattoo on my back, which not a lot of people know about. It's my only tattoo, no? And it's a little 3D tattoo. And it's, when people ask me, or those who know at least, na sobrang konti lang, ano yan? Ano yan? It's a tattoo on perspectives. And I always tell them that, ba't mo nilagay yan? Because every situation, every moment will always really be a matter of perspective. I want to go back to what you said. You were in El Nido, you were hating, the situation. You were like, fuck this, man. Diba? Bakit ako? Kaya, I worked so hard, I had my plans, pero bakit nagkaganito? Bad trip, and here I am back in, Manila, ganyan. And here you are. It was prepping you for something bigger, maybe a bigger purpose, maybe something greater. But at that time, we did not see it because we chose to focus on shit, diba? Hassle. It's like getting a flat tire. No? We arrived from Boracay. I was with my mom and my fiance just last Friday. So our car was parked dun sa open parking ng airport. Sabi ko, para madali na lang when we land, may kotse na agad, diba? Kaya para not to take, public transport anymore. Sabi ko, safer. We get to the car, sobrang flat. As in flat out in driver's side na gulong. I go, shit, what are the chances? You get off a nice vacation, get off the plane, your car's there, pero flat naman.
Welcome to Manila.
And here I am. Oh, welcome back to Manila. Here I am, and I have to be at work by 5 p.m. and it was already 2 in the afternoon. I have to be in Bulacan by 5.
Oh, wow.
Siyempre, I mean, instinct, human instinct. Shit, hassle. Hindi ka naman pwedeng oh my God, thank you Lord, na flat ako. I mean, let's not bullshit ourselves, di ba? Hindi ka naman gaganon. Hindi naman tayo tanga, di ba? Para, oh my God, thank you na flat ako. I'm so grateful. We're not stupid, di ba? But at that moment, meron kang, puta hassle, di ba? But then, sometimes you just have to take a step back. So what I do during times like that is take a step back. And I think to myself, okay, you have a flat tire, but you just took a nice vacation in Boracay. In this pandemic, you could have afforded to, take a vacation to Boracay. You're with your family, you're with your mom. You guys are all okay. Diba? Ano ba naman yung flat tire na yan? Diba? Minsan you just have to take 2 steps back. Up. Especially pag mainit ulo mo. Meron ka na dapat 2 steps back. Up. Yes, mainit ulo ko. You're mad at the situation, but always look at the bigger. That's why I like what you said earlier. Look at it at a different perspective. Look at the bigger picture. Diba? Maybe that flat tire had to happen para hindi kami ma-aksidente along the way. Diba? Parang sinabi ni Lord na, flatan ko muna kayo dyan para dyan muna kayo for another 45 minutes. Ayusin nyo muna yan. Muna kayo bumiyahe ngayon. It's not, diba? It's not the best time to make biyahe.
It's interesting because some people would call us fools, right? For trying to find the silver lining or the meaning. Parang in a sense nga, parang pilit nga minsan right? May ganong dating. Pero inisip ko kasi, pare, sige, tapos, kung hindi ko gawin yon para sa sarili ko, nega ako, galit ako? I've been that. I was that person. And it didn't bring me anywhere, right? I didn't like that version of me. So now, even if I look stupid or foolish of thinking of, okay, the universe is aligning or the universe is, whatever woo-woo yan, pare, I'm fine with it. Because, I guess like you, right? It's now giving that clarity, that, that peace, that calmness. And ultimately, wala, pare, na-enjoy mo lang yung buhay better pag ganun.
Exactly. I guess, working from home also is a blessing, di ba? Parang shit. Hindi tayo, kumakain tayo ng pagkain, nasa bahay, di ba? Hindi natin kailangan how many hours of our lives were we wasting in traffic every day before this pandemic? Di ba? We were traveling Makati and back every day, 4 hours a day, nakatenga ka lang sa traffic. Di ba?
Parang guilty nga ako Kasi dahil sa traffic, babad ako sa B&O, sa Boys Night Out. Ngayon, nasa bahay na ako, wala na.
Wala na. Diba? Pero ganun talaga diba? I mean, things shift.
Yeah.
And now look at where media is right now. Wala na ABS-CBN.
Yeah.
Pero grabe, there's so many channels of entertainment. You have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have podcasts. Diba?
I can just imagine nga how also the opportunities nga for for talents like you in the industry. Grabe
Not just
din.
me.
So,
we're talking about everyone, man. It just opened Pandora's box to every single person who wanted to do something but never had the guts to do something, never had the time to do something because they were all busy with their 4 hours of commuting. Now you have those 4 hours of your life to do something, either bake your ube cheese, bake your sushi bake.
Yeah.
Diba?
Tama.
Start a show. Because now you have 4 more.
Yeah.
Now you have 4 more hours of life with you. So what are you gonna do with those 4 hours? Tutulog mo. Hindi, ito na yung perfect chance to do this, to do something like RUNONG.
Yeah.
Diba? To make a change, to do what you've always wanted.
Yeah. Tama na excuses no? Wala na. Wala ka nang pwedeng
sabihin. Ano pa hintayin mo?
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah. As you know, the reason behind RUNONG is really to help people like me, guys like me. Kasi ako, pare, I don't claim. Kaya nga gusto ko maging host Parang I wanna interview people, successful people, interesting people, and learn from you guys, diba? That's actually my main reason for doing this. Then, my 1B, so yun yung 1A ko, yun yung 1B ko is, I'm pretty sure, hindi lang ako yung nasa ganitong situation. I'm pretty sure marami ring tao, again, who may even have it worse than I do, right? But, is curious, I wanna change, right? Or pwede ba ako mag-change? totoo ba yun na it's too late or you can't teach an old dog
Old dog,
new
new
tricks?
tricks.
And ako, personally, wala na ako doon. Hindi, alam kong I can change. And here, that's why we have Runong. I really want to share that message. At, yun nga, we can all do it together. Yung pagbabago na yan is actually reachable and we have everything inside us to make that happen. But
You
also,
just
of
have to make
course,
that first step. It's
yun.
just about that first step. Diba?
And of course, sabi nga, di ba, first step or showing up is 50%, right? Parang malaking factor na yun eh.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi yun yung pinakamahirap. Pero at the same time din, hindi pa rin naman madali eh. Hindi naman din enough na positive ka or optimistic ka eh. Tama? Hindi naman
True,
pwedeng
true.
it's all mindset eh. And that's why, yun nga, I'm reaching out to you guys. Because despite the challenges, despite the ups and downs of your lives, obviously, meron kayong mga bagay that you did right or that you're doing good enough or well enough. So I wanted to ask you, since we're in Runong, di ba? Anong karunungan, bro, ang pwede mong i-share sa amin? And to help us, I guess, siguro to frame it better, kunwari, stuck kami. Ito na yun eh, parang tangina, wala. Anong pwede mong advice sa amin?
I think now, okay, a couple of things. No, I think now would be the perfect time um, to go to ask yourself that question. What is it you really want to do? What are you good at? Diba? What inspires you? You are given extra hours of life. Sabi mo sa video game, para tayong binigyan ka ng extra life. Diba? Extra points. So, yan. Diba? What are you gonna do with it? Are you just gonna sit around? Diba? Are you gonna let your fears always block or hinder you from doing things? And what's the worst that could happen? It will fail? Won't work? So be it. You learn along the way. Diba? The the most successful moments usually come after the hardest failures. Diba? What are you afraid of? Failing now? Tignan mo nga, parang we're at the point where the world's at the rock bottom. Diba? And when you're down, there's nowhere else to go but up. Take a look around you. See what you can do with yourself. See how you could spark change if you can. See, it doesn't have to be even entertaining. It doesn't have to be funny. It just has to be you. It's free to start a podcast. I always tell people, if you need help starting a podcast, DM me. I reply to people on Instagram. Alam mo naman yan.
Yes.
I'm always here to lend out a helping hand if I can. It's about time we stop thinking about me. Now it's about us. It made us realize more than ever that we're not going to survive alone. We're not going to survive this alone. People around you, people, your friends, your family. We might have 1,000 people on Facebook, pero ilan lang doon yung tunay mong kaibigan. Diba? Find that fire. It's the best time to find that fire and make something out of it. And if it fails, take it as a learning experience. Because there's no other way to go. And there's nobody ever succeeded without failing a few times.
Maraming salamat, Sam YG. Kasi syempre, everybody knows you nga. Funny, di ba? Masaya, magulo. But I don't think a lot of people also understand or see that deeper side of you. And may clue na ako dyan, bro eh. Pag pinapanood kasi kita, alam kong pa-joke ka, parati pa-joke. Pero parati ka may sinisingit eh. Marati kang merong mga messages na I guess
nakatago dyan.
Nakasingit siya. And that's why I was so excited for this episode. And I want to thank you again for being that person who's willing to actually help out. Diba?
Oh, thank you, man. Walang problema. We're actually it's such a great honor to be part of the first, the fourth episode, as you mentioned?
Fourth episode.
Of Runong. Oh. And I do hope it does, go a long way. Yeah. Whoever's watching this, we hope we were able to, both of us, me and War, were able to probably help you out in your own little ways. So, in our own ways.
Yeah,
Tama ba yun?
malaking bagay pare yung nga yung I guess hearing your origin story also. The trials that you went through na imagine yun nga the bullying, the discrimination and how you were able to rise above it and actually use that also, right, in a very positive
Mhm.
way. And now you're inspiring people like me to win.
Oy!
That we can win, bro. That we can win.
Siyempre, we can win. We can
Oh,
win.
yeah. So, again,
It's
salamat, bro. Yeah.
salamat. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Great show, great show.